not include a debt limit increase?
Look, I'll say one thing. The Democrats just voted to shut down the government, even though we had a clean CR, because they didn't want to give the president negotiating leverage during his first term, or during the first year of his new term. And number two, because they would rather shut down the government and fight for global censorship. They've asked for a shutdown, and I think that's exactly what they're going to get.
Do you continue to support the Kurds? What's the path forward, Mr. Vance?
Come on, guys.
What will be your policy in Syria?
Are you meeting with Speaker Johnson tonight to regroup?
Excuse us, guys. See ya. Have a good night.
So that was JD Vance. JD Vance saying Democrats just voted government shutdown, and that's exactly what they're gonna get. The latest breaking news on the topic: the House reject Trump-backed plan on government shutdown, leaving next step uncertain. This is what you got to know. The House of Representatives has rejected President-elect Donald Trump's plan to fund federal operations and suspend the debt ceiling the day before a government shutdown. Almost 3 dozen Republicans joined Democrats to vote against Trump's sudden demand and the quick fix cobbled together by GOP leaders. The bill fell, failing to earn even a majority of votes. What happens next? Congressional leaders are regrouping to determine next steps. Right? The House Republican leaders said they wouldn't try to bring the same bill back to the floor. That totally makes sense to me. If the bill fails, if Trump is against it, if Elon Musk is against it, if JD Vance is against it, then they should draft it again. What was in the new bill? The legislation would keep the government running for 3 more months, including disaster assistance, disaster relief for hurricane hit states. So this bill was basically gonna fund the government until March to prevent government shutdown. But government shutdown is probably what's gonna happen. Will the government shut down? Maybe. Federal agencies will shut down if Congress does not approve a continuing resolution or more permanent spending measuring by the end of Friday. So we will see what happened today, if a new bill passes or not. So let's hear live the Congress debating on a government shutdown. This is very interesting.
Edwards for 5 minutes.
Gentleman from North Carolina is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in strong support of the American Relief Act. The basis of this bill, we all know, is a continuing resolution to fund the government to prevent us from shutting down until sometime into the first quarter. Now, I admit, I think we all know a continuing resolution is not the best way to fund our government, nor to be responsible for our taxpayers' dollars. We have an appropriations process that should work, and to the credit of Chairman Cole, that did work through the Appropriations Committee, and I certainly appreciate the Chairman's strong leadership in getting us through that. And it's noteworthy that he pointed out the Appropriations Committee by itself does not get to determine how we fund our government. We've got many needs and necessary reasons to keep our government functioning. The American people are counting on us. Our military, our border guards are counting on us. Our enemies are watching. We all know North Korea, Russia, China, and others do not have to face issues such as a government shutdown. And also, keeping the government open is critical to the district that I represent in Western North Carolina. But I'd like to just take a moment and speak specifically to the disaster relief portion of this bill. As most of you are aware, North Carolina was hit by Hurricane Helene on September the 27th of this year, and we experienced...
Well, he's basically trying to defend this bill before Congress, but we all know that this bill is utter BS. It is insane to pass a bill like this. This is misuse, mismanagement, and waste of taxpayer money. I'm sorry. They had a partisan agreement and must switch. Exactly, that's what happened. Elon Musk, President Trump, and JD Vance were against this bill that would fund the government and waste taxpayer money some more. There were some disaster relief in this bill, but there were also many wasteful overspending, such as building a stadium that would cost $3 billion and raising the pay raise of the congressmen and congresswomen. That makes no sense at all if you ask me. This is the latest news. The House GOP new funding bill to avoid shutdown fails in fast track vote. This is just coming in. The House Republican try and fail Thursday evening to fast track a measure to keep the government funding through a maneuver that required a 2/3 majority, pushing the government closer to a shutdown. The House GOP leaders can still bring it through regular channel by sending it through committee, and this would enable them to try again and pass it with a simple majority, but those under the Republican voted against this measure, while only 2 Democrats voted in favor. Lawmakers are racing to avoid a government shutdown when funding runs out on Friday night. The bill, which would keep the government funding through mid-March and suspend the national debt limit for 2 years, would still need approval from the Democratic-controlled Senate. And the Democrat, as we just heard from JD Vance, right
First
there.
year of his new term. And number 2, he had a clean CR because they didn't want to give the president... Look, I'll say one thing. The Democrats just voted to shut down the government, even though we had a clean CR, because they didn't want to give the president negotiating leverage during his first term.
The Democrat just voted government shutdown, and that's exactly what we are gonna get, he says. So we will see what happens. We will see. We will see. Trump is against raising the debt ceiling, so is Elon Musk, so is Vivek Ramaswamy, so is JD Vance. And the Democrat just voted for government shutdown because, as we heard from JD Vance, they don't want to give Donald Trump more leverage that he will already have. Let's see what people are saying in the comment section. Shut it down. No pay raise for these crooks. Why they want a raise? They don't deserve any pay raise at all. Raises should be given based on performances. The House and Senate deserve a pay cut, not a pay raise, they say. If inflation is a concern of Congress, they should not be asking for a raise. They should get the average wage of the Americans they represent. This is what people are saying. People are backing JD Vance, they are backing Elon Musk, they are backing Donald Trump. They do not want this bill to fund the government to pass. Because this bill is outrageous. It includes pay raise and building stadium and such. It's insane to me that this kind of a bill could be actually approved. Thankfully, they catched it. They catched it before it was passed. And now the government is probably shutting down. We will see what happened and report it all on this channel. Thanks for watching and staying with me. Really appreciate you being there. And as always, click right there to watch the next video and I will see you there. Bye bye.